Now at 10, emergency responders from multiple agencies participated in an active threat training event. Plus, Freeman Health System throws a party in appreciation of its nurses and raises some money for a good cause in the process. And the state of Kansas searches for an answer to the problem of too few attorneys.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The Joplin Fire and Police Departments today conducted a training exercise to prepare responders for situations where they all need to come together, like an active threat event. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Dow Quick. 13 other area emergency services agencies also participated in the exercise. The training is part of the Active Threat Integrated Response course hosted by Louisiana State University. MSSU and Crowder College volunteers played the roles required for the training.
The instructors have set together a few unknown scenarios. We're not sure. They're going to basically throw us in the deep end, and we're going to work through it, see what we do right, how we can learn, and what we can do better.
There's going to be a lot of chaos if something like this were to happen in our community. And the more we train together, the better we're working together, the more likely that chaos will go away quicker and things will happen, and saving lives is the ultimate goal there of us coming together to do that.
More than 40 officials participated in the 3-day-long course. The training happened in West Central Elementary, which is currently not being used for classes. Images shot by a drone showed the arrest today of a fugitive in northeast Oklahoma. U.S. Marshals asked for assistance from the Miami, Oklahoma Police Department to find Lucan Logan, who had a warrant in Ottawa County for a drive-by shooting that took place in Wyandotte in late August. The victim suffered only minor injuries. A tip led authorities to 2 people in a tent in a heavily wooded area near Wyandotte. The police drone monitored the scene as police made the arrest. In addition to Logan, authorities arrested 2 other people, including a woman accused of harboring the fugitive. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty for a first look at the weather.
Well, it definitely turned out to be another hot one for us today. Very consistent temperatures all week long. 88 was our high. We started at 63, average high 71. Look at the record, 104 set back in 1953. We've had clear skies all day long. We still have clear skies, pretty much clear skies across the entire Central Plains. So as we go through the night here shortly at 11:72, 68 by 7 a.m. Our overnight low is going to be around 67. Plenty of sunshine through the morning, warming to near 80. By 10 a.m. So the warm/hot weather sticks around through the weekend. We're going to be dry the next several days. We do have changes late next week. Our new pattern begins. This is going to bring in cooler weather, also chances for rain. We're going to be talking about that here in just a little bit.
Freeman Health System tonight took some time to recognize all the hard work its nurses do every day. The 8th annual Nursing Gala is a chance for the nurses to have some fun while being honored. It also raises money for the Freeman Nursing Education Fund, which helps nurses advance their education.
I think for all of us to get together just as normal people and not necessarily in the healthcare setting helps us all to relate to one another, to have a good time together, and helps the morale, helps us to all really just have fun. Remember why we love working together and with one another outside of the stressful environment of the hospital.
The theme of this year's gala was A Night Among the Stars. Folks at Pitt State today learned how to help birds migrate more safely. Crystal Anton is a bird advocate. She says thousands of birds die needlessly every year during migration, but there are ways to help. One that she recommends is to limit light pollution at night to prevent migrating birds from becoming disoriented.
Fix. On our campus, we have put 1/4-inch dots every 2 inches. We've covered about 6,000 square feet of windows where we've identified we have issues. That has dropped the number of birds that we get by 50% or slightly more, depending on the year changes. And with that spacing, you get almost no strikes at all.
Anton was invited to campus for the monthly meeting of the university's Audubon Society. The state of Kansas faces a shrinking number of attorneys. Sunflower State has just under 8,000 active practicing lawyers, and the vast majority of them live in metro areas. That means a bigger workload for rural attorneys, many who are getting close to retirement. It's a disturbing trend that recently forced the state Supreme Court to take a closer look. KOAM's Tanya Bach shows us the problem and potential solutions.
So I was that strange 3-year-old that turned to mom and dad and said, I'm going to be a lawyer.
A dream Angela Meyer says she never gave up, nurtured by her middle school teacher and inspired by local judges.
Judge Nolan would always let me come watch court.
Meyer has been in the courtroom since she was a kid.
As a kid, thinking, well, this is what lawyers are like. Of course I want to do this because they're helping people and they're so invested in what somebody says and how they represent their client and what that client wants to have happen.
Today, Angela Meyer practices family law in Pittsburgh, in the same county she grew up in.
And then he was in a Civil War veterans group.
She's also part of a bigger project, the Kansas Rural Justice Initiative Committee, focused on turning the tide on a statewide attorney shortage.
We definitely have a rural attorney crisis in Kansas where there's not enough of us. The statistics of lawyers to population ratio is higher than in metro areas.
It's a problem that's led to a heftier workload for attorneys like Meyer and even overcrowding issues in some county jails.
Crawford County Sheriff Danny Smith says his jail broke a record last summer, housing 140 inmates in a facility designed with 108 beds. Sheriff Darren Eisinger says Labette County is still teetering at capacity with around 84 inmates. And while the Cherokee County Jail has room to spare, Sheriff David Grove says the time between check-in and check-out for inmates has slowed down.
When they're initially arrested, they're held here either until their trial or if they're allowed to post bond. So if they don't post bond, then they stay until their court case is adjudicated, which can be, we have the person that we've been holding the longest at this point has been here for 656 days.
We're going to talk about empowering women.
Kansas Supreme Court Chief Justice Marla Lukert signed an order creating the committee last December. She stopped in Pittsburgh earlier this month to talk about female leaders in the state. The Chief Justice grew up on the rural western Kansas border before attending law school at Washburn University. She says the price of a law degree is a big factor adding to the attorney shortage. Washburn has already partnered with Pitt State in a 3x3 program, allowing students to complete their bachelor's and law degree in 6 years. And Washburn law students can also join the school's Third Year Anywhere program.
You can finish your last year of law school anywhere, or you take your classes remotely. But it gives you a leg up in the practice of law because you're interning somewhere.
An internship that could lead future attorneys to Southeast Kansas who are ready to hit the ground running.
We're getting a Board of Indigent Defense Services offices at some point. My understanding it's been funded. I think it's in the works. So Public Defender's Office. I think that's supposed to hopefully alleviate some of that need, is to be able to have attorneys that are hired full-time and that's all they do.
Having defense attorneys that are willing to be court-appointed defense attorneys is really important to move the process along, the criminal justice process along. And when we have a shortage like we are currently experiencing, it just delays that process even more.
Is there more than one solution to this, and how do we kind of make an all-inclusive plan that says if you don't like this piece, then you can like this piece, and either way we get attorneys in rural areas?
The latest challenge, meeting the legal needs rural Kansas deserves. Reporting in Southeast Kansas, Tanya Bach, KOAM News.
Now, details are still pending for the new public defender's office coming to Pittsburgh. Meyer says it's just one of the legislative proposals the 35-member Rural Justice Initiative Committee plans to make reality before the group finishes in 2024. Coming up, folks in McDonald County, Missouri get a chance to speak to potential employers less than a month before the Tyson plant in Knoll will close its doors. Plus, it was a diamond dogfight in Miami today as the War Dogs took on the Bulldoggers in a regional doubleheader. John has details in sports. The Columbus, Kansas Chamber of Commerce today mixed business and health. They hosted a business expo and health fair. People who attended could check out booths set up by local businesses and get health checks like a wellness check and blood pressure check.
I really hope that they actually realize and remember what they have in their own hometown and to be able to support our businesses here.
That expo was at the State Theater Event Center. Citizens in McDonald County, Missouri are getting the chance to speak with potential employers after Tyson announced its planned closure of the Knoll plant. KOAM's Anthony Saviello gives us a look.
With the Tyson chicken plant in Knoll set to close its doors in just under a month, it's crunch time for those who are seeking to find employment. Knoll Elementary played host Thursday to many local businesses seeking to help Tyson workers still on the hunt.
Manufacturing is manufacturing. It doesn't matter if you're trying to process chickens to making the label. I mean, a lot of the same processors are in place, so it should be a very easy transition to get into our company.
James and the team at Iconex were just one of the many businesses that are still showing up to help support this community and the people who live here. According to McDonald County Chamber President John Newby, the future of the plant is still up in the air, but there is still hope.
My gut tells me, though, that the plant will probably sell sooner rather than later. But I do believe personally that this is a blessing in disguise for not just Knoll, but for the county.
And for McDonald County Superintendent Eric Finley, the hope is that jobs continue to stay local, especially as enrollment continues to rise in area schools.
We're up about 150 kids district-wide, and best case scenario is we maintain that our students stay here, our families stay here, they find jobs to where they can stay here.
Reporting in Knoll, Missouri, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
The Knoll Tyson plant is set to close on October 20th. Weather ahead, and a little later, Colgan and Northeast face off on the football field. John's going to have all those details coming up in sports.
Well, it turned out to be another warm/hot day for us today. We were mid to upper 80s for highs yesterday, and again today. We went into the upper 80s, so very consistent the past few days. Yesterday, 86. We dropped down into the mid 60s and then right back up into the upper 80s for highs for us today. This is what we're going to see tomorrow. This is what we're going to see into the weekend. We don't really have any big changes until about the middle of next week. All right, for you tonight, clear skies. We drop back to 67. Temperatures, you can see lower 70s by 11, by morning 68, and then a quick warm up back to 79 as we go into late morning. Clear skies, not too much is going on all day long, all evening long. We're going to continue with the clear skies throughout the overnight hours for us tonight. And if you look out toward the west, there's also not much going on. This is our weather as we go through the next few days, pretty much status quo compared to what we have seen all week long. All right, mid 60s to start. Let's go to the noon hour. I'm going to stop it at noon. Mid 80s. We'll go into the late afternoon. 90 in Nevada, 87 in Neosho, 90 in Miami. Look at Chanute up to about 92 degrees. Tomorrow night looks good. A few clouds, mid 60s once again. And then as we start off the weekend, again, upper 80s to lower 90s. Plenty of sunshine once we get into Saturday afternoon. So the next couple days very similar to what we have seen over the past couple days. Day planner 68 in the morning, 85 by noon, 89 by 4 p.m. So high temp 89, clear skies all day long. Let's jump ahead. Let's go into Friday night high school football. It's going to be a little bit warm, but for any fans, it's going to be fine. Kickoff about 83. 75 by the fourth quarter, and we're definitely going to stay on the dry side. So when are we going to start to see some changes? Well, right now we're in the part of the pattern. High pressure is in charge. If we go back, this part of the pattern was early August, and we had that triple-digit heat, so that's why we're so warm right now. High pressure lasts all the way through the beginning of next week, and then finally Tuesday into Wednesday, look at this. Storm system pulls out, and this is the beginning of our new pattern, and it's going to last for the whole next year. So it's going to be a little bit of a wetter pattern. We're going to cool down with it. Obviously, we're still going to be warm over the next year, but this is the beginnings of changes as we head into next week. Until then, we stay mainly hot and dry. 89 tomorrow, 89 on Saturday. Let's go 90 on Sunday. Monday and Tuesday, pretty much the same. Chances for showers and thunderstorms roll in Wednesday and Thursday. Look at our highs next week, mid to upper 70s, so quite a bit cooler as we get into the second half of next week.
Doug, thanks. Coming up in sports, highlights from Miami softball's regional championship game. And third-ranked Pitt State football says it isn't overlooking its winless opponent on Saturday. John Dales has those stories and more coming up next.
Pitt State football is ranked number 3 in the country. Much like every team, the Gorillas' focus week in and week out is solely on the game right in front of them. This Saturday, PSU faces 0-4 Northeastern State before going against the number 11 team in the country, undefeated Emporia State, next weekend. Nevertheless, the Gorillas' mindset is unchanged.
We have a 1-0 mindset, stay in the moment mindset here, and every start to every week, it's always about us. What do we have to do to get better? And that's where we started again this week, and then we start to really dial it in and focus on the opponent. And we've done the same thing this week. Our guys understand the 1-0 mentality and how that's worked to this point, so I don't see us changing this week.
Our motto has always been 1-0, and Northeastern's a hungry team looking for a win, like you said, and so I think it's just the best thing we can do is just stay positive and just focus on them, focus on their offense.
Miami softball won its regional semifinal yesterday against Dewey. In the double elimination tournament today, all the Lady War Dogs had to do was win one more game out of 2 in order to become regional champs. Miami hosting the Regional 15 tournament. A win and you move on, a loss and you stick around to play another game. Pick things up in the bottom of the first. Kyla Overton laces this one off the glove of the third baseman. That's an RBI single, and it puts Dewey up 1-0. Later in the inning, Addie Duggar gets a good piece of this one, and she's going to drop it right between those two outfielders. It becomes an RBI triple. Bulldoggers lead 2-0. Dewey leads 7-0 in the 6th. In the top of the 6th, Brooklyn Powell gets enough of that one to clear the fence. 2-run homer. Miami comes away with 3 runs in the 6th. Right back in it. But in the 7th, Dewey up 7-3, and Powell, who hit that homer earlier, grounds into a double play. That ends the game. Still another one to play, but Dewey pulls off the upset. They beat Miami 7-3. Now, game number 2. It's the same team squaring off again, win or go home. In the bottom of the first inning, Brooklyn Powell at the plate again, rips this one into left, 2-run single. Miami takes a 2-0 lead. Next batter is Hayden Davis, and she goes opposite field. That's gonna fall down for a hit. RBI single, 3-0 Lady War Dogs. Pitching in this game, Faith Lemons, just what Miami needed. Gets the strikeout in the 2nd. Next batter handles the comebacker, throws on to first for the out. Then she ends the inning on a swing and a miss and is fired up afterwards. To the bottom of the 2nd, Lemons again, this time at the plate though. Hits a 2 RBI single into the outfield, 6-0 Miami. At this point then, Lemons closes this one out with a strikeout. Miami War Dogs go on to win their Regional 15 champions after they beat Dewey 13-1 in 5 innings.
And for them to come back and make adjustments and really try to get downhill on balls and just be committed to who we've been all year. I mean, and tap back into our work ethic and our determination and really just everything we've built right back here. It's really impressive to see how determined and how resilient they are.
I would just like to say that we work great as a team and that a lot of us are really selfless. And in the prayer we say before, we always be like, Lord, I pray that you just keep us humble. And I feel that really shows, especially when there's adversity.
Colgan football off to a perfect start to its season. Panthers are 4-0. After winning a close one against Frontenac in week 1, they haven't played a competitive game since. Now tonight is Colgan's senior night at home against Northeast. Senior night at Hutchinson Field. Vikings of Northeast enter at 0-4. First play from scrimmage, Tucker Harrell deep down the sideline, and he finds Jack Schremer for a 40-yard pickup. Colgan would score to go up 7-0 on that drive. Panthers get it back again. This time Harrell calls his own number on the QB keeper, weaves through defenders, and goes to the house. 14-0 Panthers in the blink of an eye. Colgan getting it done on defense too. Dawson Troth throws into traffic. Freddie Battert gets the interception, and he's got blockers in front of him. Takes it into the end zone for a pick 6, 35-0 Colgan in the first quarter. Backups came in the second. Karsten Simmons rolls out. He finds Brock Riddell. The sophomore makes a move on 2 defenders and scores. That puts Colgan up 56-0. This one never in doubt. Colgan wins 76-0. And yeah, that's correct. 76-0.
Wow. That's like playing against the Broncos.
Yeah.
Practically. We'll be right back. Some Missouri Southern students played Gaelic games out on the Oval. This fall, Missouri Southern has chosen to highlight Ireland for their 2023 theme semester. The Recreation Services Department has found their own way to be involved through Irish games. Missouri Southern students had a chance to play a Gaelic game called hurling. Most hadn't heard of it before. There are several other events at Missouri Southern involved with the Ireland theme semester still to come before the end of the fall semester, many of them open to the community. Let's check back with Doug.
Well, tonight looks fine. We're going to have clear skies, mid-60s, 89 again tomorrow, so very similar to what we've had all week long. High school football looks great. The weekend looks great. It's just kind of teetering on hot. And then we get some rain chances in here finally Wednesday and Thursday of next week. Plus, with it, we cool down, high temperatures mainly into the 70s.
Final sports notes.
Yeah, Doug talking about high school football. We got a lot of good games tomorrow. Our game of the week, upstart Riverton team at 2-2, trying to end Parsons' undefeated season. They come in at 4-0. They've been really good this year.
It's going to be a good night for football.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. Morning show at 5 a.m. Let's make it a great tomorrow.